Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a very quiet Wednesday where not a whole lot is taking place. Not much to talk about today, so we'll just jump straight into the main Liverpool websites and see what's kicking about. On This is Anfield, there is a nice lead piece entitled How Alan Hansen's Golf Career Almost Deprived Liverpool of a Defensive Titan, written by Stephen Scragg, so you know it's going to be absolute and top class. Make sure you give that one a read when you get a chance. There are a couple of pieces here about the international break. 33 Liverpool players called up for international duty, but 6 key men miss out. So obviously we know Trent and Naby have withdrawn from their international duties with injury. Andy Robertson has COVID. We'll wait and see if he joins Scotland later in the break. Thiago hasn't been picked by Spain because Luis Enrique is an idiot. Ibou Konate not called up by France, not interested thus far in switching to Mali. And then you have James Milner and Joel Matip both retired. Milner wouldn't get in the England squad regardless. And Bobby Firmino not picked for Brazil. There are 14 players from the first team called up for international duty and 19 academy players. So the senior players are Alisson, Kelleher, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Henderson, Jones, Elliott, Salah, Mane, Jota, Diaz, Minamino and Origi, and Andy Robertson, depending on whether he goes or not. And then in terms of youth players and loanees, it's Vandenberg, Yaros, Kwanzaa, Jonas, Miles, Chambers, Nico Williams, Bradley, Beck, Scanlon, Mabaya, Clayton, Clarkson, Morton Hill, Fraundorf, Roberts, and Cannonier. That is a sensational amount of players to be getting called up, especially when you consider that Trent and Naby were called up. Matip would be called up if he was willing to play for Cameroon. Thiago should be called up because he remains Spain's best midfielder. And if France were not managed by a moron, Ibou Konate would be in the French squad. So it just goes to show that the strength and quality of players that the club have right now is probably better than it's ever been. There's obviously still a couple of holes you'd like to address, but up and down through the academy as well, there's so much talent there. And if some of that can be harnessed and brought through to the first team level, that will mean that Liverpool can continue to perform at a very, very high level. What does the international break look like? And that's just a bit about our schedule and who's playing where. There is a piece here, Liverpool set to sign teenager through post-Brexit loophole. Liverpool are expected to complete a deal for Derry City teenager Trent Kone-Doherty this summer as their post-Brexit youth recruitment drive continues. Upon the UK's exit from the European Union, tighter restrictions were put in place for clubs looking to sign the best young players around Europe. At the start of 2021, clubs can no longer acquire overseas players under the age of 18, with Steven Bajcetic from Celta Vigo the final such arrival at Liverpool. That prompted the Reds to adopt a new strategy as they look to bring in the best young talent from the UK which has seen Cade Gordon, Bobby Clark, and Callum Scanlon sign deals with the club. According to the Irish Independent, the eye-catchingly named Conor Doherty is set to follow the same path in a deal worth in the six-figure region. Doherty is a right-footed winger who can play on the left and the right. He turns 16 at the end of June, and Liverpool are looking to agree a pre-contract deal. It is anticipated he will end up in Liverpool, writes Daniel McDonnell, who describes it as an assertive move from the Premier League title contenders. Typically, Liverpool would no longer be able to sign players under the age of 18 from sides in the League of Ireland. But with Derry straddling the Irish border as part of Northern Ireland, this deal does not fall under the post-Brexit jurisdiction. Yeah, because if he's from Derry, technically, he's Northern Irish, even though he plays for the Southern Irish underage teams. He likely has a UK passport as well. So therefore, he just classes as a UK-born player. Ben Doak, the young winger that we're apparently getting from Celtic, obviously the same thing, Scottish player, so therefore no worries around Brexit. I have to say I don't know anything about this kid. Doak I know a bit about, and he's very, very highly regarded at Celtic, but I'll have to do a bit of digging on Trent Conor Doherty. He's from Derry, though. It makes it a lot easier, but good to see he's decided to represent the correct country. None of this nonsense of playing for the North. Come and play for the South. No offense to any of the Northern brethren. But yeah, look, exciting that we're getting yet another highly promising young player. We wouldn't be looking at him if he wasn't a very special talent. This is Anfield have some new pictures up of the Anfield Road extension. And obviously it's going to be built in the same manner as the main stand was, with the new structure built around and over the old structure, then the roof to come off the existing Anfield Road end, and the whole thing to be connected up. It should be pretty spectacular when it gets done. It really should. And I really do hope that's not the end of it. I really do hope they'll consider extending the Kenny Dalglish stand. Even if the Kop stays as it is, extending the Kenny Dalglish stand in the same manner as the main stand would really create quite the cauldron. Especially if they do bring back the safe standing, and that can go into the Kop. You can get the Kop as a safe standing, one-tiered, just barrage of noise. That would be very, very cool. But these pictures are great, so do check them out. It's quite a bit of work has been done already. A lot of the structural steel is already in place. I don't know. I'm assuming this is Anfield have used a drone. Matt Lawton or somebody's gone out with a drone and put this up, because it does look very, very cool. But there's quite a bit of work been done already. So yeah, check that out there. What else do we have? Surprising stat reveals new Diogo Jota partnership developing at Liverpool. Oh, this is from Andrew Beasley. Liverpool's top three combination for clear-cut chances created this season. Trent to Sadio Mane, 9 times. Mane to Salah, 8 times. And Kostas Tsimikas to Diogo Jota, 6 times. So Tsimikas is creating a clear-cut chance just for Jota every 139 minutes, which is a fair effort. considering he's the backup left back, you really have to be happy with what he's contributed to the team. And he's been such a big boost this season because it's meant that Andy Robertson can have breaks as and when required. Don't have to continually run him into the ground. On Liverpool.com then, FSG have already justified bold contract call as Jurgen Klopp unlocks midfield future. This article is entire nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Not surprising at all, though. Liverpool may have found perfect James Milner heir in new international with championship record. This is about Callum Styles of Barnsley, who, to be fair, is a bang average championship midfielder. He's not even a standout player for Barnsley. Made his debut at 16 at Bury, went to Barnsley a couple of years ago, isn't even a regular first choice there, or hasn't been until this season. Why would we want him? Why would we want a James Milner heir? Jordan Henderson will assume the James Milner role and we'll just buy better players. Liverpool could follow very interesting transfer target tip to replace key Jurgen Klopp figure. So this is about replacing Divock Origi, and Nabil El Zar, when he did an interview recently, suggested Youssef En-Nesyri of Sevilla as a player Liverpool should look at. I've suggested him in the past. I really like him. He hasn't had a great season. I think he had COVID that really sapped him, but he's 24, he'll be 25 in the summer. He's only scored 3 goals this season. It really hasn't been a good year for him, but I do think he had COVID and missed a bunch of time. He's only played 15 league games, so they've played nearly 30. So yeah, he's missed half the season or so, but he hasn't been great this year at all. I do really like him. I would be in favour if we can get him at the right price. He is very, very good at his best. Liverpool drop biggest contract hint yet as key Jurgen Klopp duo left in fresh transfer limbo. This is about Sadio and Bobby. It's hard to know what to do with them. I think Bobby is the easier one to re-sign because I think he'll want less money. I also think Bobby has far less value on the transfer market. And he's such a key player for Klopp. I think Klopp will want to keep Bobby even on a 1 or 2 year extension. Sadio will still have a lot of value on the transfer market. But I'd be really worried about giving Sadio a new 3 or 4 year contract. Because the last couple of years of that contract could get very ugly. He's obviously still a very productive player, but he's not the same player he was 2 years ago. Now, maybe he can be reimagined in that false 9 role, but I do think maybe the smart thing to do would be to sell Sadio, look to bring in someone like Christopher Nkunku from RB Leipzig, who has a lot of similar traits with Sadio, also a lot of similar traits with Bobby, could play that false 9 role, keep Bobby as the backup, re-sign Salah, and that's your new front core. Salah, Nkunku, Diaz, Jota, Bobby, Minamino, and then obviously Kate Gordon and whichever of the youngsters make the breakthrough, whether it's Oakley Cannonier, Musolowski, Fraundorf, whoever. New transfer path opens for Mo Salah as Liverpool want forward better than Erling Haaland. This is the Media Digest piece. Let's have a look. Liverpool's hopes of signing Red Bull Salzburg striker Karim Adeyemi looked dead in the water when reports emerged that Borussia Dortmund had all but completed a deal. That deal appears to have fallen apart because Dortmund don't want to pay the asking price. He's very, very talented. You'd be absolutely thrilled if we could sign Adeyemi. Liverpool closely monitoring star forward Benjamin Sesko, also of Red Bull Salzburg, giant of a human being, exceptionally talented. The idea that he's better than Haaland, though, is silly. But certainly one that would be of big interest. 8 goals in 28 games this season. A lot of his appearances have come off the bench. He's still only 18. He's very, very young. But he does look a real prospect. New team enters the Salah race. I assume this is Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus. Juventus would only sign him if he was available on a free. So you can probably rule them out. They're not exactly in a great financial situation. Liverpool should consider 36 million Mohamed Salah transfer repeat for 23-goal star to lead new attack. And this is about Tammy Abraham. Tammy is a very streaky player. He's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. And I don't think he's good enough to start for a team like us. And for the price that Roma would want, I think you'd have to have a certainty that you were getting a starter. So they paid £34 million for him last summer. Chelsea have a buyback at £68 million, which can only be triggered after the player has completed 2 seasons. But I would imagine they also have something involved if Roma decided to sell him this year. He's got 23 goals in 40 appearances for Roma this season, 15 in 29 in the league, 7 in 9 in the Europa Conference League, and then 1 in the Italian Cup. There's no doubting he's a good player. He showed that in 1920 with Chelsea. He scored 15 goals in the Premier League. But what age is he now? 24. He'll be 25 in October. You'd like to see a little bit more from him. I wouldn't be against it, but for the price that they would want, I do think you could do better. I think you could probably get Darwin Núñez for cheaper. And Darwin is 3 years younger, better all-round player, and is having a better season himself. On Liverpool, that is Liverpool.com, and that is all we have from them. And on AnfieldIndex.com, then there's a couple of new podcasts up. There is a new old school with myself and Gags having a chat about whether or not Liverpool can win the treble. That's one of 3 old schools we're going to have over this 2-week international break. The other 2 will record live on Saturday. There is a new Scouted where myself and Carl had a go at fixing Manchester United. Obviously, United currently looking for a new manager, and they've had talks with Erik ten Hag. It's been framed that it was an interview. I would imagine Ten Hag was interviewing Manchester United. I would imagine he was the one asking the questions. It also blows my mind that he's only 2 years younger than Jurgen Klopp. He's talked of as this great young manager. He's 52. And yet he's not got the experience of the top managers, but he has been managing since 2012. So he's a decade in. He's 52 years of age. He's not some kid. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for today. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.